Hey guys, it's John, small town, small time bookseller, here with another video. It's a little bit different because obviously I'm not in my wife's craft room at the moment. Because that's usually what I do, is just do videos about hanging out in my wife's craft room. It's entertaining. And but I also sell books on eBay, and I come on here to tell you about what I sold. And so today I'm going to be doing that as well, but first got to talk a little bit of something. I'll say, if you're new, that is what I do. I sell books on eBay, and I talk about them here on the YouTubes, and that's pretty much all I do. I don't do any garage sale videos. I don't do yard sale videos. I don't do, you know, the GoPros or the good old bins looking at my hands like a couple of beefy little meat puppets hanging out on a couple of scrawny little appendages. No. I don't do that. So I just I'm gonna tell you about the books I sold, but I wanted to address a comment first. So I got a comment on the last video. So the last video, I stuck the whole month of February on one video, and to rave reviews, I must say, no one seemed to have much problem with it. I got one comment. It wasn't negative at all. He wasn't being rude or anything. He was just asking the question about, what the heck, you know, a month of sales for like, what was it, like $1,000 or so? You can't survive on that. That's not a full-time job. And so for those of you who don't know, you're right, this is not a full-time job. For me, this is a hobby, and it does things like pay for vacations. A little foreshadowing there. And so I have a full-time job, and I do this. I seriously source for books once or twice a month, twice or three times a month. I'll go up to Houston on a Saturday and route through the Goodwill bins. Other than that, on a lot of days, I'll stop in at local thrift stores, and maybe once a week I'll find something worth buying, a book or two here or there, maybe not a book here or there. So that's the extent of the time that I put into this, other than the shipping and the boxing up and the taking of the, you know, listing and all that kind of stuff. So if I wanted to do this full time, I would have to do a whole lot more. I would have to be sourcing multiple times a week and have a lot more books than I do have currently up. And so don't get the idea that what I'm doing is a full-time salary, or that I'm trying to say that it is. It is not. It is hobby. It is money to help pay for vacations, and to put away a little bit here and there when we can. So on with today's video. I'm gonna be turning the camera around here in a minute and going through the sales if I can. I'm gonna try to, because it is a little bit rainy, and I've got the books written out on a piece of paper over here. But this is going to be for March 1st through the 10th. I didn't do the whole month because I had like over 90 sales in the month of March. So I think 90 sales would be a bit too much to do in one video. So this is going to be like 20 some, I forget exactly. I'll go over it at the end of books and non-books. And we'll see if we can get some action in here. And I'm going to just kind of walk up and down the streets. You'll be looking at me. You'll be looking at Tokyo, because that's where I am right now. And my wife and daughter are back at the hotel taking a little nap. And so I thought I would kind of show you the sights, and hopefully not the sounds, because I hope you can still hear me. So I'm going to stop this, flip it around, and we'll get going. So I am in Osaka this time. I recorded that introduction in Tokyo. But it was raining that day, and I tried to record while holding an umbrella, while reading a list, and it was hard to do. So I didn't like the way it turned out, and so now we've moved on. We're in Osaka, close to the Dotonbori area of town, and I'm going to try to do the same thing again here. And just kind of wandering around, seeing, you know, these guys. Alright, so I shall walk around. I'll talk about the books. I feel slightly ridiculous doing this, but that's okay. We'll see, you know, exactly what happens. and how it goes. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But here we go. So let's get into the books. We're going to be talking about March 1st through the 10th during this video. Alright, so the first book that sold is a 1957 St. Joseph Daily Missal. That sold for $9. The next one that also sold is also a vintage book. It's from 1951, copy of Red Badge of Courage, sold for $9 as well. And then the next one, you know, the religion always sells, where we actually sold another St. Joseph Daily Missal. This was sold for $10, and it was from 1959. So I picked up both of those. I just sold thrift store near where I work, and they both sold pretty quickly. So, and then another $10 sale was the Naval Electrician's Mate 3 and 2 Training Manual. This is going to be these ads. This is so cool. Oh, it's so fun. Alright, let me go here. Yeah, let me turn down this way. So, hold on. I ate at this tempura place the other day. It was really good. So the next book that sold, with 2016 Oscars program, sold for $12, which is kind of fun. And a 1982 copy of Dune. 24th printing, nothing real special about it, but sold for $12. Dune obviously is pretty popular, and so not too surprised that would sell. Then for $13.50, I had Carmel by the Sea, and that's Carmel by the Sea, from Aborigines to something, I'm not sure. And then I had two $15 sales. We had a bicentennial Texas Rangers hat, obviously not the baseball team being a bicentennial, but the police organization, and that's all for $15. And then a cookbook, the Pots, Pans, and Pioneers Volume 3 cookbook, sold for $15 as well. Alright. So for $17, Fluid Mechanics sold. And I'm not even sure if that's about. But anyways, the next one that sold was an $18, was a Johnson Everett outboard repair a motor manual, sold for $18. And I had three $20 sales. We had a 1960s Afghanistan book called Ancient Land with Modern Ways, sold for $20. And then another $20 book was Motherhood, Is It For Me, which sold for $20. And the last $20 was Dalhart Windbag. Sorry, Dalhart, not Windbag, Windberg. Is a painter, and this book sold for $20. That's around that yellow thing that goes all the way up to the top. There's like those little red circles on the end. There's like a Ferris wheel, and we went on that earlier. It closes at 7:30, so we did that earlier today, but we actually went all the way up around the top. It was pretty cool. Alright, now for the last section of books. Now for the big expensive ones. We're just walking down the side street in Dotonbori. I hope y'all can hear me. I hope this isn't just a waste of time. I hope the video's obviously it's going to be shaky, but not too shaky. So I had a $24 sale of two Dansk salad plates sold for $12 each, so $24 there. And then I had another religious book, 2 Corinthians, for Power from Weakness or something like that. sold for $24 as well. Then I had another hat. The hat was a Texas Tech Red Raiders hat, sold for $25. And here we go. And one more $25 sale was 12 Sermones Doctrinales, a Spanish translation of Spurgeon's sermons. Anything by Spurgeon sells really well, and I recommend. So this was even one translated into Spanish. So, all right. And then moving on. Next we have a couple of $30 sales. This is a nice one because it's a small little book. 2015 Porsche Museum book, sold for $30. And then a German, this antique German book called Der Kleine Katechismus. I forget which year it was, but it was antique, like it was over 100 years old. And it sold for $30 as well. Is this dude? And then we had a set of DVDs, Battlestar Galactica DVDs, sold for $35. Feels so weird doing this. I'm trying to walk slow, trying to use my marching band way of walking, heel toe, and to keep from shaking too much. But we're down to our last three sales. And first one, so Dynamics of Flight. I was actually at the Goodwill bins and somebody came up to me and said, "Hey, you sell on eBay?" And I was like, "Yep, I do." And he said, "Well, you're going to want this one." And I said, "Thanks." And I thought, yeah, it sounds like one that would sell. And it sold pretty quickly and for $75. So I'm very thankful to whoever that was that gave me that book. So, and then the next one, it's always hard to sell political items without letting anyone know my political affiliation, because that's not why you come here. And maybe you can kind of pick up on it from just my general personality. But I'm going to say this next sale with as little inflection as I can, and that is this. I sold a Donald Trump Mar-a-Lago hat for $100. So I will take that money. And then the last sale of the day is kind of fun. So whenever you see books in the Goodwill bins, and sometimes libraries maybe will put new covers on them, new covers on old books. It probably affects the value somewhat, but not a whole lot. So if you look at the outside of this book, you think it wasn't very special at all. When I opened it up and saw it was from 1779, and it was called The Memoirs of the Marshal Duke of Berwick from 1779. Had a new cover on it. Some library had done that, and so that's it. Okay, that was my big sale of this 10-day period. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll end it here with the moving crab. Osaka is an absolutely fantastic town. We are just loving it here. Japan in general, but my goodness, Osaka has just really, really impressed us. So the rest of March will be coming as soon as I get a chance to do it. It won't be until I get home next week. But hope everything's going well for all of you guys, and you're selling the heck out of a bunch of stuff. Adios. So one more thing I needed to add before closing out the video is that there is no hat deal this week. The hat that I was wearing in the introduction is definitely not a hat that you'd want to buy. I've been wearing that thing. I've been wearing that thing for quite a while, and it's a stinky little dude. So just to let you know that if anyone who's interested in that hat, it's not one that'll be up for sale. So anyhow, hope you enjoyed the tour of Osaka, and we shall talk to you later. Bye-bye.